Hello everyone. This week in Key Stage 1, our topic work is an art-based week, and we're going to be learning about a famous artist who was called Andy Warhol. Here's a photo of Andy Warhol, and behind him you can see some of his beautiful artwork. Andy Warhol made pictures using lots of bright colours called pop art. You can see the different colours on these animals. I've never seen a zebra with red and yellow on it. I normally think of zebras as black and white, but Andy Warhol liked to experiment with beautiful different bright colours in his pictures. This is some artwork that he did on a character, a cartoon character. Do you know the character? Mickey Mouse. And often Andy Warhol repeated the same picture in his artwork, and sometimes he used different colours for each part of the piece of artwork. This is another very famous piece of his work. This is an actress called Marilyn Monroe. Can you see his signature right at the bottom of the artwork here? Andy Warhol. Often artists write their name on the front of their work. You can see that he's made Marilyn's face look slightly different. Her skin colour and her eyeshadow is different. Sometimes the background to his pictures in each part is different. So there's an orange background, a pink, a bluey green and a brown background. Imagine if Andy Warhol made a picture using a superhero symbol. I wonder what that might look like. So you can probably recognise quite a few of these superhero symbols. Here's Batman and Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk, Superman. I think one of these might be Captain America. Do you know this one? Maybe you can think of a different design for a superhero. This is what Andy Warhol's Superman design might have looked like. So he's got the same shape, the S for Superman, but he's used it with different colours, and maybe he would put different squares of different colours next to each other. That would be interesting. That would look like a super piece of pop art. Or maybe if he chose Spider-Man, it might look a little bit like this. What design would you choose to work on? Perhaps you could have a go at choosing one of the designs you like or one of the logos and see what you could create. It might look something like this. You could finish colouring if you've got paints at home or colours at home. You could finish colouring the background very carefully on each part to make it look different. Maybe you've got some different coloured pieces of paper that you could put together, and then you could make the logo, the superhero symbol, and pop it on each piece. Two great pieces of pop art. Have a go. Another idea for this week might be something like this. These are handprints in the style of Andy Warhol. If you follow this link, this YouTube link, you can see how this work was created. Let's have a little look. First, the person divided their paper into 4 parts, and they drew around their hand on each quarter. Then they painted their hand a different colour and let the paint dry. That's very important, to let it dry first. Then around each hand they chose a different colour to paint in the background. And finally, it might get a bit messy, but the person has painted their hand with a black paint before printing their hand onto each part of the picture. And there you have it, Andy Warhol handprints. Maybe if you haven't got paints at home, you could think of how to create that kind of picture using coloured pencils or crayons. For our last piece of artwork this week, we're going to have a look at Andy Warhol soup cans. And again, if you want to follow a YouTube link as to how this person created their pictures, you can follow it by this link here. This is a piece of artwork by Andy Warhol from 1962. Wow, that's many years ago. And he recreated his soup cans all over the piece of artwork, but each soup can actually was different because it was a different type of soup. This one is an onion soup. This one is tomato rice. This one is celery. This one is vegetable. This one is chili beef. This one is tomato. This one is pepper pot. Every single piece of artwork is a little bit different, but he displayed them next to each other. It looks quite special, doesn't it? Maybe you could try and draw the shape of a cylinder as the start of your soup can. And then you could divide it in half with a little line around the middle and label the type of soup you want. So this is tomato soup. You can see the person's added some circles at the top of the can of soup. And then I think this is a mummy over here and her daughter there, and the daughter is copying the mum's ideas. Maybe your grown-up can help. So they're painting the top part of the can. Again, if you haven't got paints, you can use crayons. There's a crayon. And then after they let the top part dry, just like the handprints, the background is a different colour. I think on this page they've used all crayons to try to make 4 designs in each of the quarters of the paper for the soup cans. So I hope that you've got some ideas of the different kinds of artwork you might like to create this week. Well done, everyone. If you do any of your artwork, don't forget to send a photo to your teacher. Bye.